We're talking with Tom Bull from Holbrook, who's talking about vertical integration with his enterprise. Well, Tom, firstly, tell us a little bit about your operation.
We run a seed-stock business, sell rams to 220 lamb producers, producing about 400,000 lambs.
Now, 200 plus producers, what are you seeing amongst the producers in the industry when it comes to the type of animals that they want?
I think there's a couple of issues to be a successful lamb producer. I think the first one, there's probably four key things, is having a good feed budgeting, good genetics, good financial budgeting, and producing to a market. The key, I think, is actually getting all of those right. It's not necessarily just getting one. There's no use producing the ideal lamb if you don't do it profitably, and there's no use producing a lamb that's cheap to produce if no one wants to buy it. So the key is balancing all of those, and I think successful producers do all of those things.
Now, you asked today whether producers are doing that. Some said that they were doing all of that, but are you finding that some are only doing one or two of those four areas?
Yeah, a lot of people, there's a lot of people, I suppose, doing bits and pieces. Very little feed budgeting done in Australia. Lots of feed budgeting done in New Zealand. Producing the article, I think one of the biggest problems or biggest issues in the lamb industry, there's a huge diversity of markets, 18 kilos to 30 kilos. A lot of people get caught in the wrong market, the wrong sheep. So it's just about putting those two together.
Now, with those two sort of areas, are you finding that many producers are particularly focusing on both of those, or your clients?
Yeah, I think the successful ones are. I'd say they're probably the leaders in profitability are. They've got a good handle, particularly on the cost of production. They know their cost of production, they know how many sheep they should run, they know when they should lamb, and they know which is the best market for their enterprise.
But you talked about feed budgeting, and I think you said New Zealand is at around 90% are involved in feed budgeting, and Australia about 10%. Why are we so limited?
Yeah, I suppose I just made the comment that if you went to New Zealand and asked how many people did feed budgeting, I think you'd find most of them. I think just a lot of the basic skills, particularly with that, are lacking in Australia. Particularly that feed budgeting, having the right amount of stock and lambing at the right time of year, it does show up. In a lot of enterprises, has been a big deficiency.
Why do you think a lot of people lamb at the wrong time of the year when they haven't got the level of growth? Is it because the markets are there in the early spring?
A lot of it is tradition. A lot of it is you lamb in April and turn the lambs off in August. It's just what a lot of people have done for a lot of years, and there's no doubt it's an easy system. You turn off suckers, but in terms of profitability, it can work well, but again, it's not necessarily when you lamb, it's when you lamb relative to your region and pasture composition.
So do you think that the lambing at the right time, and for a lot of people in this part of the world, in this Cowra region, it's lambing into spring, will actually counter potentially lower returns by having much better growth rates?
I think it depends on which property, but I mean, there's no doubt. There's probably some properties who've got areas, got room to move in terms of when they lamb and what pasture they've got available. There's also some people who do lamb early that have a lot of grazing cereals and loose and who do a very good job at it. So it's again coming back to knowing what you've got on hand. In this area, it depends on each farm.
So the take-home message from your talk today?
I think the lamb industry needs to improve productivity. All our gains have been in price received. I don't think we're going to be as lucky to keep getting the same incremental price increases in the next 5 years. So we've really got to improve the productivity. Cropping's certainly doing a pretty good job at it. But I think the sheep industry's tended to lag, and over time, if we don't get our productivity up, it will just become a very small cottage industry in Australia.
Tom Bull, thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you.